Hi, intrepid viewers, coming to you again from Sydney. This will be quick because some people have decided it's a good idea to give me a surprise barbecue on Sunday. Don't you hate surprises? Ooh, okay. Anyway, it'll be okay once I settle in and just enjoy the barbecue. But in the meantime, I'm here with you. And I'm answering your questions today, including the Oklahoma governor's race and other issues. But first and foremost, Mark Meadows. He's had a good run on the merry-go-round, right? Now he's wanted by the J6 committee, but also, you know who's after him? And we'll probably get to him first. Fani Willis, Georgia. The woman is a goddess, and all these guys fight it, and Mark Meadows will fight it. He'll spend millions of your money fighting it and then have to appear. If a judge has ruled on one of them, surely they can say, well, no, we've tried that. But no, let's waste more millions, Makes me so cranky. So I'm going to have a look at Mark Meadows. But before, we have to celebrate Biden's numbers up through the roof. I'm loving that. He's at 44%, and that's higher at this stage of his presidency than Obama, Clinton, Carter, and Reagan, the Prince of Darkness himself, right? So the numbers are going in the right direction. But let's have a look. Mark Meadows. I'm going to look how the next 4 weeks are going to go for Mark Meadows. I think that should be enough to tell us something. So we'll have a look at that. If you notice people running back and forth, just ignore it. Oh, look, I'd have to say with these, he gets the world card first. I think he's in a world of pain right now. He's one of those guys who comes across as very cut off. He's not wearing his heart on his sleeve like the Yeti or Giuliani, But it's full circle for Mark Meadows. Where's he been? I hear you ask. Well, he's been busy. He's a roommate, really, of the devil. They actually shacked up together, as we say in Australia, he cannot get out of this. This will be really interesting. King of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles, here they are. Now the 10, again, end of a cycle, like you got with the world. So this is a question of who's been paying Mark Meadows and who is going to pay his bills now. I suspect the GOP for now, but, these are powerhouse money cards. As I said, world of hurt, and this is what it looks like every night for Mark Meadows. So let us pray, let us pray that justice is on its way. Meanwhile, in relation to the Mar-a-Lago searches, there's going to be more, for sure. They're not convinced they've got everything back, and I'm sure they haven't. But why did the Yeti hold on to them so long? Hasn't he heard of a photocopier? Maybe that's what took so long. He couldn't work the photocopier. There you have it. Really. So let's have a look at that. Why has the Yeti fought to hold these documents back? Like, we know he likes to bring out photos and love letters and things, but what was The reason, what was the reason he held them back for so long? The problem is no one can control him, eh? They go in thinking they can, but they can't. So he just refused to give them back. Why was that? The emperor. Oh, big macho boy cards here. Oh, I see. I see. See if you agree with this interpretation, possums. Look, I always get this for the Yeti. Somewhere in the spread, there'll be the Emperor cards. So he doesn't understand why he should even be asked to return them now. He still doesn't get it now. Okay. He's still convinced, you know, he's the king of his own pickup truck here, you know. Here come the forces of law. But the question being, why did he hold on to them so long? He knew they were weapons and could be used. But here, I think, is the answer. The Ace of Pentacles, Fool's Gold. Why did he have them so long and not just copies? I think he named ridiculous prices for it. So you have the Saudis, possibly even the Israelis, but you've certainly got Russia and everyone else, China, wanting this stuff. And they would have paid probably 100 million for this, 100 million for that. What's the betting? He asked such astronomical sums of money that no one bought them. So he would be keeping them to try and sell them to the highest bidder. That would not surprise me. No surprise. That's how he thinks. You know, okay. So, Christ up against DeSantis, we do have to keep an eye on that. He's changed from Republican to Democrat. I'm sure he's far from a clean skin, but at least I think he's got a rational brain. He's not out and out cruel. I'm sure he's got some nasties in his past, but he's not so personally nasty. He's just a bit corporate greedy, which these days passes as having, you know, a sublime sort of moral character now. Oh, did you see the US patent organization, whoever they are, have turned down Truth Social? It's too like other names. They won't let the Yeti have the name Truth Social. So I wonder whose fault that will be. Won't be his. And I'm going to have a look at Brazil. Okay. Now, speaking of Republicans turning to Democrats, we've got to be careful because they can end up as dinos. You know, look at Sinema and Manchin. But this woman in Oklahoma, her name is Joy Hoffmeister, and she's up against the incumbent Republican Stitt. So let's see, can Joy Hoffmeister pull off the governorship of Oklahoma? Because she said basically he's taken the Republican Party to the dark side. So she's trying to, she's in a ruby red state in Oklahoma, but let's hope she can appeal to the middle of the road. So I'm just going to ask outright, will Joy Hoffmeister win? Let's see. Look, I don't think so. I'm sorry for the viewers who requested this. I don't think so. She starts off well. This is the Lover's card. She's reasonable. She attracts people to her point of view, right? But then she gets out in the cold. She's the queen of Oklahoma here, but right next door to out where it's not very nice. I think there's going to be a dirt campaign against her, probably because she's a good candidate. But old money will win, I think, in the case of Oklahoma. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, can be wrong. Awesome. Now, I'm going to have a look at Brazil. Let's have a look at Brazil. Someone said on MSNBC, they said Trump's having the worst retirement of any president in history. And we have to console ourselves with that, because these cases, none of them are going away. They're just multiplying. They're queued up out the door and around the corner. Well, will that impact on his mental prowess? You'd have to think. If his brain does deteriorate under stress, I mean, how would you know? But it's possible that degree of stress could tip him, but we'll see. Okay, Brazil. Now, Brazil has an election coming up in October. There's 156 million registered voters. A lot of people. Now, the guy who was in before, his name is Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, known as Lula. He's come back from the political dead to take on the horrible Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is doing his best to log the entire Amazon rainforest, in record time. The lungs of the world, everything he touches literally dies. Who does that remind you of? So I guess in a way, poor Brazil, it's up against the corrupt left or the corrupt right. So I'm going to do Lula on the left and Bolsonaro on the right. Oh, come on, Lula. Lula, Bolsonaro. All right. Lula first. Oh, I'm not liking this. Not liking it at all. So Lula gets a second bite at the cherry, right? As I understood it, there were manipulations behind the scene by the right to try and topple him, which they did, but he's come back. He's made the choice to come back. But he gets the Five of Pentacles too, and he gets the Devil card. I think he's too compromised. He said yes, probably to come back. He said yes to too many awful people, and they would strangle his opportunity to really take the country forward, I think, sadly. Meanwhile, the awful Bolsonaro, he's an out-and-out mercenary. At least you know what you get with him. He's just in it for himself, corrupt money, and the Queen of Pentacles here, which is suggesting, for whatever reason, that more women might vote for him. I find that very strange. I really hope I'm off the ball here. I don't like this. So I'm really sorry, Brazil, but we'll see. And things change, and I may revisit this between now and then, because the current energies do shift in these very volatile races. In the old days, reading tarot, you used to be able to, a year or two out, fairly safely make your prediction, right, wrong, or in between. But now there's so much in the news cycle that is affecting so many people's heads that, as psychics, mediums, whatever, got to deal with all that confusion in other people's headspaces. And so these things have to be looked at. But for now, mind you, on the other hand, with a lot of the Latin American countries, they swing back and forth. The pendulum goes left, right, left, right, left, right. So they might be due for another left swing, but we'll see. The fact he's a known quantity could work for him or against him, Lula. There could be people say, look, my life didn't improve with him last time. I'm going to go with this nasty guy. All right. So, I thought before I go, I'm just going to check in on Bill Barr again because I'm very confused. What about you, intrepid viewers, about the memo that said allegedly a sitting president could not be criminally charged, which is why Mueller spoke in tongues, you know, about trying to avoid actually doing it, but giving Barr the work. So I'd like to know more about that memo, but Bill Barr, will he be brought to account on all of this? Bill Barr. Bill Barr. Let's have a look. He's got some form of protection for now. I don't know how long it'll last. Oh, there is an end to it. Good. At the moment, this is the very loving Queen of Cups, lid on the cups. We have not heard the whole Bill Barr story, and I don't care how many books he writes or anything else. There's so much more to that story, and he is keeping a lot of secrets here with this Four of Pentacles and documents. He knows about dynamite documents, and he is sitting on those. He has friends in high places. There's no doubt about that. And for now, they're protecting him. But that's going to come to an end at some point. And there will be a large degree of loss and grief for him. The thing is it enough loss? Is it enough grief? Oh, I shouldn't be so nasty. Just like to see some transparency and accountability. Wouldn't that be good? But, guys, with Biden's numbers, with high employment figures, he's got runs on the board now. I understand the environmental package is way short of what is needed in the real world, but it's nonetheless the biggest to go through. And I think more and more voters in those marginal red states, despite the MAGA files, are beginning to realize that's where new jobs, if they're ever going to come, are going to come through there. Why don't they, the MAGA files, ask the Yeti? You said you'd bring back steel. You didn't. You said you'd build the wall, and you didn't. We paid you extra money out of our own pockets to build your very own wall, and Steve Bannon ran off with the money. Why don't they ask him some hard questions? Right? And this is the problem with the modern world, is you can go on a channel that supports you, then you never ask the hard questions. And I think we've seen the end of presidential debates. There might be some bit of a circus going forward, but we'll see. So there you have it for now. And I'll come to you again before I leave Sydney. And I'm in the very gorgeous Bondi Beach. So big love to you guys. Take care and ciao for now. Bye.